Overlapping a panorama is easy. You go from right to left, left to right. It's so easy, right? But then you take a Milky Way panorama and you're out in the dark and you're trying to overlap without seeing any of the foreground. And that's the thing that we're going to solve tonight with my 3C3O method. Not this guy. It's 3C3O. Third, center, third, off. So I'm going to teach you 3 of my favorite tips to help you and I do Milky Way photography panoramas out in the dark without any light. You don't have to turn on light constantly to check the numbers on the side of your ball head. You don't have to do anything else except look at the stars in the back of your screen and go boom, 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 boom. So let's get into it. Tip number 1, know your guide stars. Your main guide stars are Antares, Vega, and then the entire constellation of Cassiopeia. Tip number 2, set your position with Vega first. Do that first, above all. You've got your camera out there, you've leveled off your tripod, and you got the base of your tripod all level, but now you need to know, okay, do I want to keep my camera perfectly level with my tripod? No, you're going to have to tip your camera back in order to see the stars in the sky. And Vega is your key to know that you've tipped back far enough. And you want to make sure you go to Vega first. That arch that goes up to the highest point and then goes down, you want to make sure you include that middle highest part, because when you go to the right, it'll definitely include everything because you've gone even taller than everything on the right. And when you go to the left, the same thing happens where everything on the left comes down closer to the horizon. You're already set high enough for Vega, so you're definitely including everything in the sky on the left. You see, the biggest challenge with stitching a panorama is that you have to have plenty of room. Plenty of room on the left at the end of your panorama, plenty of room at the right at the beginning of your panorama, as also enough room above the Milky Way arch. You ever had those situations where your panorama goes up into the top of your frame, and at the top of your panorama, when you merge it all together and use the software, it causes some weird stretching and pulling and warping and puckering, and all of that happens to your beautiful arch. And you don't want that to happen to your arch. You want your arch pristine, untouched. So you have to give it headroom so that you don't have any of that weird warping happening to it. So watch this video and you can see how here I am at my camera, my tripod, working with it and making sure I get Vega in frame, and then I'm double checking to make sure that as I go to the right and to the far left, that my camera isn't making any weird movements. It has a little bit of up at the right and a little bit of up at the left, but that's okay. That's to be expected. You're going to have a little bit of up and down depending on how far you've tipped your camera back. Make sure that you tip this camera back well. Don't tip it back where you're off to the side one way or the other. You want to make sure that you're tipped back perfectly straight. All right, so now you've got your guide stars memorized. You figured it out. You know exactly how Antares looks like in the dark night sky. You know how to find Vega, and you know where to find the Cassiopeia constellation. You've taken your tripod on whatever terrain you're on, you've leveled it out as best as you can, and you made sure that you tipped back your camera to include Vega or go right to Vega, and in some cases, let me emphasize again, in some cases, you might cut off Vega just to give yourself some more room for the foreground. Just make sure that you have the top of your frame, the top of that composition, really close to Vega so that you have plenty of headroom, and you know you have plenty of headroom to work with in your panorama stitch. So now you've done all of that. Here's the hard part. The capturing in the dark. How do we do that? What, Aaron, is your 3C3O method? My 3C3O method is third, center, third, off. It's designed to help you see a star and move it to a third and capture and picture at every third until it goes off the frame. This is going to give you a 70% overlap. Totally overkill compared to the 30% that I normally recommend, but I'm telling you, it's a guarantee to make sure the stitch works. There's tons of information. All right, so what is third, center, third, off method? How can I explain that to you? I have 2 ways to explain that to you as best as I can without being there at your tripod. So first, let me show you what it looks like on my screen. Then we're going to go back there and show you what it looks like in the dark when I use a simulated starry sky. Then I'll come back and reiterate it one last time. Before then, I give you a tip sheet PDF that you can download. It has all these tips so that you don't forget them, and you can have them right on your phone when you go out there for a panorama, and just before you start, you go, oh crap, what was Aaron King saying? There it is. Okay, here's my tip sheet. Oh, yeah. I gotta make sure I know Vega. Where is Vega? To remind you of these tips so that you don't forget them while you're out there doing your Milky Way photography. So here we go. This is the first image of 9. I'm centered on Antares. Take that picture and you go from third, center, third off. So center to the third. The next frame is going to be a Antares moved from the center to the right third. Take that picture. Now, third, center, third off. Right third goes off. I bring Antares off the frame and take a picture. The hardest part at this point is when you got a bright star like Antares that is now off the frame. What star do you use next? You can use any star whatsoever, whatever star you can see. Just look at a star on your frame and go, which one's around a third? I notice that this one, this unnamed star right there, happens to be on my left third. So I'm going to take that unnamed star and move my camera more left until it comes to the middle of my frame. And there it is in the middle of my frame, and a bright star showed up that I recognize. That's Altair, the third star of the summer triangle. So now I've marked Altair on the left third. I'm like, okay, cool, here we go. Altair from the third, center, third off. This is perfect. So I take my picture like this, and after that picture, I move Altair to the center, and I take a picture. Then I move Altair to the right third, and I take a picture. And then I move Altair off, just like I did in Antares, and take a picture. At this point, another member of the summer triangle has shown up, and I can see that Deneb is there nice and bright in the center of my frame. And so that's perfect. I'll just move Deneb over to the right third for image 8. So now Deneb's in the right third. Oh, wait, Aaron. Look at that. That's not the right third. That's the very edge of the frame. So you can see in this example where I got a little distracted by Brendan and his tripod, and I put him in the center instead of seeing where I put Deneb. But you know what? Watch how this works all together. In the end, I'll show you that this doesn't cause a problem whatsoever. What I went from was 70% overlap before has now suddenly become 50% overlap, and Deneb made a big jump from that left third all the way, it was in the center. So center all the way to the far right edge of the frame, which is about 50% of my frame. So 50% is still plenty of room to stitch, and you can see what it looks like when you make that mistake. So I put right third in quotes here because I wanted to emphasize that I moved Deneb from the center to the right third, but I went way too far. And I want you to know that you don't have to be perfect with this. If you see a star and you move it towards the third and take a picture, you've got it. Even if you pushed it past the third, even if you pushed it all the way to the center and you got it, you've got it. The only time you'll ever have a problem is when something's on the far right third and you take it all the way off the frame. That's a little too much. That's going to give you very minimal overlap, and you might have a problem stitching. Might I emphasize, because these stitching softwares are so good nowadays. So now that I got Deneb on the far right third, I've taken a picture and I'm going to move Deneb off. But I also see that Cassiopeia is now in the picture, so I'm going to move Cassiopeia over to the center. And moving it over to the center / right third, I got enough room on the far left to Cassiopeia and that I have opened up the entire framing of my panorama. I've gone from the far right where Antares is over to Cassiopeia on the left. All right, let me reiterate this with some practical examples from that camera right now, showing it with my simulated stars. All right, so here we are in my simulated dark sky with a set of stars, like only the few stars that you can see. And that's the situation that you find yourself in, is that only a few stars really show up. Depending on what your camera sees at night, you might actually see more stars than this. But let's pretend like you only see 6 or 7 stars, the brightest of the stars. And this is what you kind of run into. Antares is bright, so you see that. You go across the night sky and you see Altair. Altair will pop out just like Vega will, very high up in the sky, Vega. And then you go continue on, and Deneb is right there, completing the summer triangle. And then continuing on from Deneb, you're going to have some stars that you really don't know, but something's going to stand out, and you'll use it to match your way across third, center, third off, until you come all the way around to the opposite side of the Milky Way, where the W of Cassiopeia will be visible. And so in my simulation here, I'm going to show you what you're basically doing in the third, center, third off. Here's the situation. So first things first, you get yourself level, and now you're trying to find Vega. So imagine that I've got my camera here and I'm ready to go. And I need to make sure that I get clearance on the top of my Milky Way. I want to make sure I have plenty of headroom, so I'm going to tip my camera back until I get Vega in the frame. All right, there it is. So Vega is in frame, but do I need to have this much room above Vega? No, don't do that. That's going to be way too much. You just basically need to have Vega at the very top. And in many situations, you'll get Vega right to the very edge of your frame, and you'll probably end up pushing it a little bit off the frame just because you want to save more space for the foreground. But for this situation tonight on this simulation, let's keep Vega right at the top. Let me lock that in. So now I've locked my tripod in at this height, and I've decided on this position. I got as much foreground as I really need, and if I really needed more, I could do a second row to capture more foreground. But this is going to allow me to have Vega at the center without cutting off that top part of my Milky Way, and then work all the way around my panorama from right to left to get everything all the way up to the W that is Cassiopeia. So here we go. Let's do the third center, third off method, starting with Antares. All right, centered. Let's take a picture. After that picture, you go ahead and move Antares until it gets to the third. Now, don't be too crazy about this. I mean, this is not supposed to be precision third, precision center, precision third. Just make sure you have it roughly in that area and you know that you're giving yourself more than enough overlap to really make this work. Take that picture with Antares on the right third, and when it's finished, we move Antares off the frame. And once you no longer see Antares, take a picture. In this situation, typically, you won't see a star right away. You may see a star that'll pop up, but what I end up doing if I don't see a star is I just start moving to the left a little bit. Oh, there's a star. Immediately there's a star. So I'm going to bring that star, which is Altair, to the first third, that left third. So it was off frame. I moved to the left third, and I get started again. Left third, take a picture. Bring Altair to the center. Take a picture. Take Altair all the way over to the right third. Take a picture. And then go until Altair goes off the screen. At this point, you're probably going to start to see Vega. And I see Vega is pretty much close to my left third, so I'm going to go with that. So remember, I just took this picture with Altair going off the frame. So I've already got this frame. So I don't need to take another picture with Vega at the left third. I already got it. So I'm going to go ahead and move Vega to the center, take a picture, and then move Vega off to the right third and take a picture, and move Vega off the frame and take a picture. And now I've got this other star. Looks like it's Deneb. Deneb has shown up, and it's about in the center. So that's great. I'll just move from the center to the left third now, the right third now. So with Deneb at the right third, I take a picture, and then I move Deneb across the screen until it goes off. Sweet. Looks like a new star. I don't know what star name this is, but another star has shown up on my frame, and it's about at the left third. So I'm going to move that to the center and take a picture. I'm going to move that one to the right third and take a picture. And now I've got Cassiopeia featuring nicely. And I know that Cassiopeia is my far left bookend of the Milky Way. I've got Antares on the right bookend and Cassiopeia constellation on the left bookend. So I move Cassiopeia to the center, take a picture, and then I move Cassiopeia to the far right and go ahead and take a picture. So on this right third, Cassiopeia is the end of my capture. Sweet, you understood that probably a little bit more because you can see how it moves across my screen versus me just showing you these images. So now you are able to just take your camera, go out in the dark, without even turning on a single light, and pull off that panel really fast. If you're thinking, okay, Aaron, I got it. Third center, third off. I think I remember it, but I'm not sure if I will when I'm out there on location and I have no cell signal and I can't rewatch this video. That's what this PDF is for. Here is my answer to help you know how to do this the next time you're out there and you don't have to have cell signal. Just download this to your phone and this PDF's available to you. So just got to make sure you send me information and I will email you this PDF. The link is in the description down below, so check it out. Thanks for watching with me. If you have any questions, always feel free to join me on Milky Way Wednesdays. I'm live here at Mountain Time, 7 p.m. I won't be live for the next 2 weeks. I'll be back on May 13th. So come back and join me then, and I'll see you at Milky Way Wednesday. Later.